Hi, welcome to Plasmacost. In today's video, we're going to be taking a very similar nest to the one we made in the last video. We're going to be sending this into the calculator to give us a good idea of expense, charge, and profit for this job. A couple things I did change from the last video is my pierce time to 4.5 seconds and my tool change time for 40 seconds. But those are malleable to whatever is going to fit your shop. And then if you decide on something specific, you can save that as the default for future use. Anyway, we're going to send this now into the calculator. Once it shows up in the calculator, we want to set a few things. First is the job type, whether we're using a plasma table, laser table, or Waterjet. You might only have one machine in your shop. You might have multiple machines. And we want to show on the quote or report what machine we're using. So for this, it's going to be plasma. And from the nesting has sent over a lot of the information we need for the estimate. Material is mild steel, grade is A36, and the material thickness is 1/4 inch. The job that we've set up is going to be a 48 by 96 piece of material. We're only going to do one sheet for this customer. So that is a total cut inches of 5,669 1/4 inches over 1,167 pierces. The next boxes here generally remain blank because Plasmacost goes automatically in the background, picks up all the live material prices and factors that in. Right now, this is factored in at 65 cents a pound. So if you wanted to buffer your margins, you could come in here and you could say mild steel's at 80 cents a pound. Whatever material you pick, it will automatically get the proper live price for that. You can change it here if you need. Next, we have our square inches. A lot of customers like to add some square inch charge in there as well, and there's the availability to do that. The next few things are real must to be charging when you're cutting, whether it be plasma, laser, or Waterjet. That's the pierces. That's hard on your consumables and such. We want to be charging at least for your parts like base plates, flanges, such like that, brackets, about 10 cents a pierce. With about 5 cents a cut inch. With higher end pieces, maybe one of a kind art pieces, you might want to go with 50 cents a pierce and 25 cents a cut inch. But for what we're doing in this job, we want 10 cents a pierce, 5 cents a cut inch. Setup cost, base rate is $65 for setting up your table because it's not free to go out and put your material on, set up your files, get everything ready to cut. There's a charge to that, and you should put that charge toward your investment of your table. The next one is going to be your machine hourly rate. It's not free to have that thing running all day. You have electricity, you have air, you have overhead costs of labor and such. So generally a lot of the times between 75 and 150 is what a lot of shops will charge. Right now we have $100 per hour over 206.3 minutes. And that brings us down to our markup for these. Standard 40% markup is a pretty good standard markup in business, up to 50%, whatever you want. That in the end gives you a profit margin after labor costs, overhead, and stuff like that. We have the option of a 20% markup for really good customers, family, or people that deserve a lower price for our services. We also have an aggressive margin for the customers or the jobs we don't really want to do. Maybe we don't really have time to do them, but if a customer is willing to pay that price, well, we'll get it done. For this job, we want to choose the standard 40%. And when we scroll up to the top, that's going to tell us we have an expense of $1,113.20, a charge of $1,558.48, for a total profit of $445.28. And then this is going to break it down to light items as well. Material, that's our sheet of steel. Cutting. Now, cutting here, this can change due to the grade or type of material you're cutting. This takes into account the difficulty. So, mild steel is easy to cut, it's kind of got a lower markup there. If you go to hard ox, AR, stainless, aluminum, that cutting rate is going to go up substantially because it's a bit more difficult to cut. You could run into more problems. So that's to help buffer your profits there as well. Next is your consumables. Consumables aren't cheap, especially now that a lot of times we're running cartridge consumables from Hypertherms. And over a full sheet, you might go through a cartridge. On a bad day, you might go through two cartridges. On a large sheet, same way. Next one is going to be our gas and our shield price. So your compressor's running. That's another investment you want to pay for. So we want to charge for that. Also, you might be using an array of F5 gas or argon, nitrogen, something like that. The next line down is going to be our cut length cost. So that is the cost broke down of 5,669 and a quarter inches at 5 cents a cut inch. Then we have our setup time or setup for our machine, 65, 40% markup, machine rate. This is what it's going to charge over that almost 3 hours of running, or just over 3 hours of running. So now that we have determined that we have a good quote with a good profit margin, a good charge, we can then come down here and we can hit save quote. And once we save the quote, that sends it automatically over to our quotes page. And in our quotes page, we can come over here and we can share it, we can download it, we can then email it over. And in here, we can email it in a couple of different ways. So we have first an internal report to email to managers, supervisors, boss, accounting. This is going to break down the material we're using, the type, the thickness, how many sheets or how many pieces, cut inches, the markup, the date, the size, the weight, all that good stuff. And then that's going to break this down in an internal report of expense, charge, profit for future use, whether that be their future business plans and whatnot. Also, now we can send this off to the customer so they can approve this. We're going to hit customer report, and this is going to break it down much more simple. It's just going to be the material type, the size of the material, the date, the thickness, the quantity. This is going to break down the material cutting, consumables, gas, cut length cost, setup, machine time in just the amount of charge. And then we can come down here and we can email this over to the customer we want to email this to. We hit send, and off that goes to the customer, so then they can get back with us, or we can touch base with them in the future to figure out if they want to move forward with this job or not. Anyway, that's it for this portion of Plasmacost. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great day.